target stock, okay? Simple, okay? Dividend yield 3% plus. PE on this stock is about 22. That's a trailing PE, so do keep that in mind. As far as this year's PE, we're trading at about 16.5. Based upon next year's numbers, about 13.4. So I'm getting undervalued valuation on the stock right now. Expected to do $110 billion of revenue this year, $112 billion next year. Simple. I mean, this is just simple, if sleep well at night. I'm not going to have any problem sleeping owning a stock like Target. Very easy buy. Any major dips I can buy. Nothing crazy here, right? In life, you got two options, right? If you need to go to a physical store to go buy stuff, you usually have two options for you. One is you can go to Walmart and you can press the button and hope you can get an energy drink or something like that. You're probably, there's a decent probability you could get in a fight while going to a Walmart. My dad, he used to call Walmart a poopy diaper store or something like that. He used to call it poopy diaper store, and he used to say, because the few times he ever went to Walmart, he was always poopy diapers in the parking lot. And so that's your option. You could go to Walmart, right? It's always an option for you out there, right? And you can maybe save a few pennies here and there, or you can go sip a frappuccino, have a pumpkin spice latte, and walk around in a beautiful Target. There's options in life, right? There's options in life. So yeah, Target. Very easy buy, not complicated for me. They're going to be around, going to be relevant, and I really like the innovation, obviously, the company's been doing over the years. They've even included a lot of remodels for Ulta stores inside Target stores now at this point in time. Their food section has improved dramatically over the past 10 years. No one took Target seriously from the food category 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. And today, I go to Target probably 2 to 3 times a month, I would say. And I can tell you, I go by the food section every time. And a lot of times I'll buy food and drinks from Target. It's always freaking busy here in Vegas. Always busy. So it's just very, very interesting. All right. Alrighty. So that's Target. Very easy buy. Let me explain something extremely important to everybody watching this video right now on what's happening, what's going to happen with this market moving forward, how this is going to play out, how it's going to shake up your portfolio and those sorts of things. Okay. So the market bottoms in mid-October 2022, right? At that point in time, the bull market starts. Now, what's interesting is over the last 9 months or so, as we've gone on this bull market, it's been different stocks performing at different times. It's not like everything just goes up at the same time or down at the same time, right? And so at first, when we kind of bottomed out that market and then we started to move the market up into the end of the year, right? At first, it was like the safest of the safe stocks were what was moving us up. And you can look at the stock charts of these stocks and you'll see exactly that. Stocks like Apple, stocks like Microsoft, stocks like JP Morgan, the biggest financial out there, right? Look at where those stocks bottomed in mid-October and look at the moves up into year end. That was what was moving the market at that time, because that was seen as, some people said, okay, the Fed has done the majority of their work. We're likely going to trough earnings over the next couple quarters, and then things are going to improve from there, right? So far, that looks pretty darn accurate. It looks like the Fed has done most of their work. It looks like inflation's coming in where we need it to come. We should see a CPI in the 2s when the next report comes out here in a few weeks. And it looks like that is pretty darn accurate. So it's not like right away people are saying, I want to take super big risks. They're saying, let me start nibbling on some of these safer stocks, right? The Apples, the Microsofts, and the JP Morgans. Now, as we got into 2023, guess what starts to perform, right? The riskier big tech stocks. Keep in mind, a stock like Tesla, which is usually seen as a risk-on, risk-off stock, Tesla was still going down all the way into the year end. So you saw these stocks performing, you saw the indexes performing while Tesla was actually still going down into year end. But Tesla doesn't get grouped into the super safe stocks. It doesn't get grouped into Apple and Microsoft and JP Morgan. It's grouped into this other category of like riskier big tech. You want to take some more risk, you buy something like a Tesla, right? It's an outperformer or an underperformer depending upon if you're in a risk on market or risk off market, right? Now, Tesla, Meta, Nvidia, AMD, those sorts of stocks started to catch a big bid at the beginning of 2023 and as we kind of ticked along and we went on this bull run. Now, very recently, and I'm really talking over the last, let's call it 2 or 3 months, we've started to see some small cap stocks start to perform, right? Remember what we started the video with? We were talking about Fubo toward the beginning of this video. Fubo up, what was that performance for Fubo? It was ridiculous. Just in the past 3 months, what was that performance? 165% in the past 3 months. Okay, that's insane, okay? 165% in the past 3 flip and flapjack months, right? So that would fit into the smaller cap. That would also fit into like high growth stock, right? And we've even seen some regional banks start to outperform, right? Regional banks were getting hit heavy back in around March, April, a little bit into May. And then over the past couple months or so, or even a lot of these regional banks have started to catch a bit. I was watching CNBC, this was last week, and I saw one of these regional banks was, oh my gosh, it was up like 27% in a day, which goes to show you some of these moves that some of these regional banks are making now at this point in time, right? Now, where does the market move from here? And I'll tell you exactly where the market moves from here if we continue to take this baby in a bull market. Let's assume for a minute the economy stays decent, maybe even things improve a little bit more. Let's say we get that CPI in the 2s, which would make the inflation worries even less, and even the worries about the Fed even less, right? Let's assume for a moment, the economy continues to hold and maybe even get stronger. Consumer sentiment gets even stronger, and people start feeling pretty good about the future of the economy, much better than they were certainly a year ago when consumer sentiment was the lowest as far as Michigan consumer sentiment we ever have seen, right? Well, the stocks that start to perform in that sort of market, if that's what's about to happen, are going to be stocks like retailers. You're going to start seeing stocks perform very well in the back half of the year, like Foot Locker, like Nordstrom, like Target, and many other various retailers that just haven't been performing in this market, right? Because we've been in a goods recession. So if we're seeing as things are going to start to improve, we're going to exit this goods recession and things are going to start to heat up there in the back half of this year and going into next year, then retailers will start to run. And you'll see some pretty epic moves in many of these retailers. You'll also start to see moves in companies like trucking companies. You'll start to see moves in the railroad operators, right? Because we've been in a very huge goods recession, right? If we're seeing as things get better from here, then guess who's going to benefit in a massive way? Trucking companies are going to benefit. Railroad operators are going to benefit, right? And so you actually see accelerating stock prices from those companies over the next, I would say, 6 to 9 months, if that's what's going to end up playing out here, right? And you'll see many of these high growth companies, even the non-profitable ones, catching a bid and a big bid at that, right? And so that's kind of the next move here. As long as the economy stays decent, we don't have any kind of like black swan events, something that happens that shakes up everybody and gets everybody super panicked again or something like that. And if this market continues to move up, those are the type of stocks you'll see next that will perform amazing. Now, that doesn't mean big tech stocks won't perform. It's just going to mean those stocks are going to potentially underperform many of these stocks, right? And it's an interesting time you go through where some of those big tech stocks that you would think just are going to continue to perform amazing could actually get outperformed by these sleepier companies like a railroad operator, like a trucking company, like a retailer, right? It wouldn't be as surprising to see some of the high growth nonprofit stocks outperform because you say, well, those are kind of riskier plays. So if people want to take risk, like they're going to flock to those sorts of stocks, right? But these are sort of sleepy stocks that you wouldn't usually think about these sorts of companies outperforming an NVIDIA or an AMD or even a Tesla or a Meta or any of those sorts of stocks. But don't be surprised if this market continues to roll higher. These are the ones that actually start outperforming significantly for the remainder 5 months of this year, okay? That's what's going on there.